Dear students, in the previous class, in the first unit of diversity of living world, we had seen about living world. In the living world, we had seen about viruses, bacteria, fungi, cyanophages, mycophages, similarly various types of cyanobacteria, as well as lichens. We had seen thoroughly about what are the structure, how they are reproduced, how they are perpetuate their race, what are the importance, how economically they are useful. Everything we had seen in the first chapter. Now we are going to see in the second chapter about plant kingdom. So traditionally in the world, from the early part of the world, almost all the living world is classified into two categories, namely plants and animals. The plants further divided into various types of living organisms like bacteria, fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm. How remaining all the plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm, everything we are going to see in the second chapter, plant kingdom. Traditionally, all organisms existing on the earth were classified into plants and animals based on their nutrition, locomotion. Locomotion means how they are moving from one place to other place. Nutrition means how they are taking food. And the presence or absence of cell wall. If they are having cell wall, they are called as plants. If they do not have cell wall, they will become under animals. So on the basis of it, plants and animals have been classified. Then bacteria, fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm are included under the plant kingdom or plant group. Recently, the world, with the aid of molecular characteristics, on the basis of it, bacteria and fungi are segregated and placed under separate kingdom from plant kingdom. So previously bacteria and fungi are also included in plant kingdom. Recently bacteria and fungi are separated because fungi are unable to prepare their own food because they do not have chloroplast. They cannot prepare their own food. Similarly, bacteria are microorganisms. They are being entirely different. Their cell wall structure is different. Their activity is entirely different. So that is why bacteria and fungi have been segregated from plant kingdom. Botany deals with study of plants. So botany is one of the oldest science in the world because its origin was from time immemorial as early man explored and identified plants for the need for food, clothing, medicine, shelter, etc. So most of his needs, most of human being needs are completely dependent upon plants. That's why study of plants have been established very early period. That's why botany is one of the oldest science. Plants are unique living entities as they are endowed with the power of harvesting light energy from sun and to convert into chemical energy in the form of food like carbohydrate through the astounding reactions called photosynthesis. So with the help of photosynthesis, with the help of chloroplast, all the plants can able to synthesize their own food. So this is the uniqueness among all living organisms. They do not supply they not only supply nutrients to the all living world. That means the entire world depending upon plants for their survival. Without plants, there is no living organisms can be survive on the earth. But sequester carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. What is sequester carbon dioxide? Already you know that. In the atmospheric air is also consists of carbon dioxide, very less quantity. As far as the volume is concerned, 0.03% of atmospheric air is consist of carbon dioxide. It is very less. Even though if it is less, which may cause very terrific on environmental impact. What carbon dioxide can able to do? They can absorb the sunlight, then increase the temperature in atmosphere. So this is called global warming. This is called greenhouse effect. So due to the greenhouse effect, the entire world is increasing temperature. We used to feel warm. But what happened? Plants absorb this carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. That means the sequestration of carbon dioxide. That means they can absorb and store inside. This is called sequestration. So the sequester of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. That's very important. It is not only providing food for us, but also it is providing oxygen for breathing for entire living organisms. Apart from this, very most importantly, sequestration of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. Thus minimizing the effect of one of the major greenhouse gases, that is increase the global temperature. Plants are diverse in nature, ranging from microscopic algae to macroscopic highly developed angiospermic plants. There are mysteries and wonders in the plant world in terms of size, shapes, habit, habitat, reproduction, etc. Although the plants are all made up of cells, there exists high diversity in the form and structure. Now we are going to see about classification of plants. We are not going to discuss about the classification in detail. The classification of plants can be studied in detail in second unit. But superficially, we shall see about classification of plants. Generally, classification of plants widely accepted for plants now include Embryophyta, which is further divided into Bryophyta and Tracheophyta. So, entire plants will be comes under Embryophyta. These Embryophyta further divided into two types, namely Bryophyta and Tracheophyta. Later it is further divided into, the Tracheophyta is divided into Pteridophyta and Spermatophyta. Spermo means seeds. Seed bearing plants like Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. So the detail, a simple outline of classification can be seen through this photographic picture. So entire plant kingdom is broadly divided into two subkingdoms, namely Cryptogamy, Phanerogamy. Cryptogamy means seedless. They cannot be able to produce flowers. So these are all comes under non-flowering plants. These phanerogams are flowering plants, yielding plant, as well as they are producing seed-bearing plant. They do not produce flowers and seed. They can produce flowers and seeds. So these cryptogamy further divided into two classes, namely algae, bryophyte and pteridophytes. So various types of algae are available. Mainly, most of the algae are aquatic, especially in marine water. They may be either unicellular, colonial, a group of organisms joined together to form colonial. Thalloid means paper-like structure. The shape of the plant will be looking like a paper. Then various modification, multicellular form also available in algae. Then if you see Bryophyta, very easily we can see algae are aquatic. That means they can live in water. Pteridophytes are terrestrial plant. They can survive on land. Bryophyta is intermediate. That means amphibians. Amphibian means they can able to survive near to the water bodies. Not exactly inside the water body, not outside the terrestrial land. It is intermediate. That means it is looking like amphibian plant. They need water for reproduction. So these are various groups like moss, liverworts, as well as horn mosses. Such a type of various types of bryophytes we can able to see. Then pteridophytes is a perfect land plant. These are various categories: club mosses, horsetails mosses, and ferns, and these all comes under this category. So these are all comes under cryptogam. That means non-flowering, non-seed producing plants. So these are seed producing plants or flowering plants. These are further divided into two types, namely gymnospermae, angiospermae. Gymno means naked, spermae means seeds. The seeds are become naked. That means the seeds are not present inside the fruit. That means there is no ovary at all, only ovules are directly exposed. So the ovule will be developed into seed directly. There is these are called as gymnospermae. But in angiospermae, all the ovules are present inside the ovary. That's why the ovary becomes fruit and ovule becomes seed. So these are seed bearing plants. The seed bearing plants which are present inside the fruit, because they are kept inside the ovary. So that is why they are called angiospermae. These are called as gymnospermae. These are further divided into three classes, namely cycads, conifers and netails. Then angiosperms are broadly divided into dicots and monocots. If they have two cotyledon, they are considered dicots. If they have a single cotyledon, they consider monocots. These are all superficial classification of plant kingdom. So then we can able to see the life patterns in plants. What do you mean by life patterns? Usually each and every living, all plants which can able to follow alternation of generation. What do you mean by alternation of generation? There are two different types of phases of the gametophytic phase and sporophytic phase. What is gametophytic phase? Phytic means plant. Gameto means the plants bearing gametes are called gametophyte. So if the plant bearing gamete, they are usually haploid, single set of chromosomes. Then diploid sporophytic phase. What is sporophytic? If they are producing spore, the plant producing spore will be called as diploid. When the male and female gametes are fused together to form diploid zygote. From zygote, if the plant is developed with completely two sets of chromosomes, they are called as diploid sporophytic phase. This gametophytic phase as well as sporophytic phase are alternate with each other in every plant. But the duration of gametophyte and the duration of sporophyte is differ from various plants to various different plants. Some of the plants are having more gametophyte. That means they are being haploid in nature. That means most of the life of the plant will be completely based on gametophytic phase, which are being haploid. Some other plants, the sporophytic phase is having large space in their life cycle. Then they are called as, more amount of diploid sporophytic life and very less amount of gametophytic life. So in such a way, various kinds of alternation of generation can be studied in plants. This is called life cycle patterns in plants. Now we shall see how these can be able to see. So alternation of generation is common in all plants. Alternation of haploid gametophytic phase. That is simple. A single set of chromosomes, that is haploid. With the diploid sporophytic phase, that is two sets of chromosomes. During the life cycle is called alternation of generation. See here, the diagrammatic representation will help you to understand three different types of alternation of generation. That means life cycle pattern. So the picture first shown is haplontic. The second one is called as diplontic. The third one is called haplodiplontic. What do you mean? Haplontic means most of the life cycle, the green color part is completely gametophytic stage. So in the gametophytic stage, the plants which are producing gametes, and moreover, after the meiotic cell division, they used to be formed a single set of chromosome. If it is having single set of chromosome, they are called haploid. So most of the life they spend with haploid. That is why it is called as haplontic. The remaining part, very less amount of part of the life cycle, there is, which is showing in pink or red in color. So after fusion of male and female gamete to form syngamy, then zygote, then these period will be called as sporophytic phase. So most of the space are spent with haploid gametophytic space and very less amount of diploid sporophytic phase or of the plant will be called as haplontic life cycle. The second category is diplontic life cycle. The diplontic life cycle is nothing but the fusion of male and female gametes to form diploid zygote. Then until the meiosis will be formed, after meiosis once again gamete will be formed, remaining entire life will be called as sporophytic. During this sporophytic space, which will be having most of the life of the plant. That's why they are being in diploid condition. That is why this area is called as diplontic. But gametophytic space, haploid gametophytic space is also available, but these are occupying very less number of period in their life cycle. These are called as diplontic period or diplontic pattern of life cycle. The third one is called haplodiplontic. Both are mutually equal. Both haploidic gametophytic phase and diploidic sporophytic phase are almost equal. In such a plant, this haplodiplontic pattern of life cycle will be occur. So these are three different types of life cycle. The haplontic life cycle is nothing but gametophytic phase is dominant. They are dominant as well as photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means they can able to synthesize their own food, and also they are independent. Whereas sporophytic phases were represented by zygote only, very less period. The zygote undergo meiosis to restore haploid condition. For example, almost most of the algae like Volvox, Spirogera, these are very good example for haplontic life cycle. Next we have second category is diplontic life cycle. The sporophytic phase is two sets of chromosomes is dominant, and moreover they are photosynthetic as well. And moreover, if they are photosynthetic, they can be independent. The gametophytic phases are represented by the single to few cell gametophyte. The gametes fuse to form zygote, which develop into sporophyte. Example, some of the plant like fucus, all the angiosperm and gymnosperms are comes under diplontic life cycle. Some of the plants will be intermediate between both haplontic and diplontic are called as haplodiplontic life cycle. This types of life cycle is found in bryophytes and pteridophytes, which is intermediate between haplontic and diplontic life cycle. Both the phases are multicellular, but they are differ in their dominant phase. In bryophytes, dominant independent phase is gametophyte, and it alternates with very short-lived multicellular sporophyte totally or partially dependent on gametophyte. That means they are haplontic. In pteridophytes, if you see, the sporophyte is independent phase. It alternates with the multicellular sporophytic and autotrophic. Saprophytic and or autotrophic. Saprophytic means they are depending upon, they can survive, they can get nutrients from dead and decaying organic matter. Or sometimes they may be autotrophic. Autotrophic means they can prepare their own food. If they survive by their own, they are independent and short-lived gametophyte. That means they are diplontic. Pteridophytes are diplontic. Bryophytes are haplontic. So that's all about the three patterns of life cycle in plants. Next category, algae. So if you see the cryptogams, non-flowering plants, these are broadly divided into algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. First of all, we can see about algae. Have you seen algae? If there is any rain, brings joys as well as and life to various organisms on the earth. After a few days of rain, we can see plenty of plants being around, from small plants to large tree. Have you noticed some changes in and around you after the rain? Could you identify the reason? For the slippery nature of terrace and green patches on the wall of our home. If you see, some of the buildings are looking greenish over the paint, without painting area. These green colored batches of plants are nothing but algae. Similarly, if you go to water pump or frequently water falling area or near to if the water tap is continuously flow, in this area if you see a green colored patches of plants might be there, which will be forming a slippery nature to skid. These plants are nothing but algae. So the green color of puddles on ponds, if you see some of the ponds are having green color puddles on they may be float on the surface of water. Why should we clean our water tank very often? For drinking water tank, frequently we used to clean and we used to apply bleaching powder. Why? If you touch on the wall of the tank, which is having very slippery to touch, very smooth to touch, because these are all algae. The reason is nothing but algae. Algae are simple plant that lays a true roots, true stems, true leaves are totally absent. Simple plant, but they are greenish. They can prepare their own food. They are independent. They are photosynthetic. The 2/3 of our Earth's surface is covered by ocean and seas. The most of the algae living in oceans and sea. The photosynthetic plants called algae are present here. More than half of the total primary productivity of the world depends upon these plants. So the entire world is getting food from these algae because they are available plentifully everywhere else. Further, other aquatic organisms also depend upon them for their existence. Algae are autotrophs. They can prepare their own food with the help of photosynthesis because they are having chloroplast and grow in wide range of habitat. Majority of them are aquatic, especially marine. Example, Gracilaria and Sargassum, which are present in seawater. Some of the algae are freshwater, like Oedogonium, Eleutheryx are some example for freshwater algae. And also found in soil as well. Frixilla and Vaucheria, these are found in soil. Chlorella leads an endozoic life in hydra and sponges. So chlorella can be live inside the other organisms like other animals like hydra and sponges. Similarly, Cladophora crispata grows on the shells of mollusk. Mollusk means nut type. On the shells of mollusk, this Cladophora algae can be grown up. Algae are adapted to thrive in harsh environment as well. They can able to live in saline water, like Dunelia salina grows in salt water. They are called as halophytic algae. Some of the algae can be able to grow in snow. Very severe cold. Algae growing in snow are called as cryophytic algae. Chlamydomonas nivalis grow in snow, covered entire mountain in the world, and import red color to the snow. The snow is looking red in color due to Chlamydomonas. The Chlamydomonas having a specialized pigment. Due to this red color pigment which is showing red snow. A few algae grow on the surface of aquatic plants and are called as epiphytic. Epi means on, phytic means plant. If these algae living on other plant are called as epiphytic algae. Example, Coleochaete, Rhodomania. So these are some examples. The study of algae is called as algology or phycology. They may ask in 2 more questions. What is phycology? What is algology? The study of algae is called algology or phycology. Great scientists in the world, especially in Tamil Nadu, Dr. M.O.P. Iyengar, M.O. Parthasarathi Iyengar, who is working in Presidency College in Chennai. The college is near to Madras Marina Beach. Very eminent scholars of algae have been established from Presidency College of Chennai. Some of the eminent algologists include F.E. Fridge, F.E. Round, R.E. Lee, M.O.P. Parthasarathi Iyengar, M.O.P. Iyengar, M.S. Randwa, Y. Bharadwaj, V.S. Sundarlingi, and Desiyacharya TV. These are all some great example, eminent scholars of phycology or algology. As I said just now, M.O.P. Parthasarathi Iyengar, who worked in Presidency College of Chennai, he is called as father of Indian phycology. He conducted researches on structure, cytology, cell biology, reproduction and taxonomy of algae. He published a monograph book on volvocales. New algal forms like Frittzilla, Egbalocytopsis, Caryopsin and Cylindrocapsis were reported by him. So he is father of Indian phycology or father of Indian algae, eminent scholar. So such a wonderful personality he is. Now we are going to see about general characteristic features of algae. What is algae? We can see. Algae show a great diversity in size, shape and structure. Diversity means varieties of algae are available in the world. A wide range of thallus organization, thallus means a paper-like structure, is found in algae. Some of the algae are unicellular. The algae which are survive with single cell, they are unicellular motile. Motile means they can move from one place to other place with the help of flagella, a thread-like structure, a tail-like structure with the help of it, which can be able to move from one place to other place. They are called as motile. So unicellular motile. Example, Chlamydomonas is very good example for unicellular motile. Similarly, Chlorella. Chlorella is unicellular but non-motile. They are not having any flagella. Similarly, volvox are colonial motile. Colonial means they are joined together. Plenty of algae are joined together to survive. They are called as colonial. And motile. Motile means they can move from one place to other place. Similarly, Hydrodictyon. These are colonial but non-motile. Then some of the algae like Vaucheria, Syphilis, that means tube-like structure. Spirogyra, unbranched filament, a thread-like structure. Then Cladophora, they are branched filamentous. Coleochaetae, disc-shaped. Frittzilla, they are heterotrichous. Alva, they are foliaceous, like a paper-like structure. Green color paper-like structure. Giant kelp, like Macrocystis laminaria or giant kelps in marine water, sea water. The thallus organization in algae can be seen in this picture. So this is chlorella. This is non-motile. There is no flagella. So this is Chlamydomonas. Both are unicellular, but this is non-motile, this is motile. Because they are having flagella, with the help of flagella they can move from one place to other place. The shape of chloroplast is just disc shaped. There is a specialized structure is also present, pyrenoid. Then Vaucheria. So these are tube-like structure. Siphonous structure. Then Oedogonium, thread-like structure, which is attached with the soil with the help of holdfast. Then Coleochaetae, these are thallus-like structure. Frittzilla, Alva, this is Alva, it is paper-like structure. Fucus, it is branch-like structure. Sargassum, you might have seen in seashore area, Sargassum plants. So these are all some example of algae. So algae are eukaryotic, except blue-green algae. Remaining all are eukaryotic. What do you mean by prokaryotic and eukaryotic? Eukaryotic means the living organism which are having a solid nucleus, membrane-bounded organelles like cytoplasmic organelles like Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum. These types of membrane-bounded organelles might be there in any living organism. The cells are called as eukaryotes. So The membrane bounded nucleus, if it is present in the plants, will be called as eukaryotes, or the remaining all. That means non-membrane bounded, or there is no membrane in the nucleus as well as cell organelles, they will be called as prokaryotes. So almost all algae comes under eukaryotes. Only few blue-green algae, they are called as cyanobacteria, will comes under what do you call prokaryotes. The plant body does not show any differentiation into tissue system. This tissue system means this is epidermal tissue system, this is vascular tissue system like xylem and phloem, and these are ground tissues like our cortical or pith like our ground system or fundamental type of tissue system we used to see in higher plants in 10th class, Such a type of tissue system is not differentiated in algae. The cell wall of algae is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. Siliceous walls are present in the diatoms. Except diatom, remaining all algae will be having cellulose and hemicellulose in cell wall. In Chara is another type of algae. The thallus is encrusted with calcium carbonate. Some algae possess algin, polysulfates esters, or polysaccharides, which are the sources of alginate, agar-agar, and carrageenane. These are some chemical substances which can be obtained from various types of algae. The cell has a membrane-bounded nucleus, and cell organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, etc. are present. Pyrenoids are also present. Pyrenoids are they are proteinaceous bodies found in chromatophores and assist in synthesis and storage of starch. They are very much helpful for photosynthesis as well as storing food material. They are called as pyrenoids. These pyrenoids are very common in most of the algae. The pigmentation and reserve food material and also flagellation differ among the algal group. Algae reproduce by vegetatively, asexually, as well as sexual method of reproduction. Vegetative reproduction include fission. In unicellular forms of cell, divides mitotically to produce two daughter cells, example Chlamydomonas, and some other algae are having fragmentation. Fragment means the fragment of parent thallus grow into new individual. That means if it is cut off into pieces, every piece are developed into new algae, which are called as fragmentation. Ulothrix are very good example for fragmentation. Then budding. The lateral bud is formed in some members like protozoon and helps in reproduction. Similarly, bulbils. The wedge-shaped modified branch develop in spatial area. Some of the algae can be able to produce actinides, a thick walled spores meant for perennation. Perennation means year after year. Continuously they can be able to form. And germinate with the advent of favorable condition. During unfavorable condition they cannot be able to grow. During favorable condition, from this spore they can develop into new plant. They are called as actinides. Example, Pithophora. Pithophora is a very good example for actinides. And they may produce tubers, like tuber-like structure found on the rhizoids, root-like structure, and the lower nodes of Chara, which are stored food materials. So these are some familiar examples for algae. See here, this is Spirogera. These are reproduced vegetative by fragmentation. This is Spirogera, a thread-like structure, which are having spiral chloroplast, which can divide. Everyone develop into new plant. So this is called fragmentation. Then zoospore formation. In Chlorophylla, lot of zoospores with flagella will be produced. They can develop into new organisms. Then if you see sexual reproduction, some of them are reproduced sexually by isogamy. Some of them reproduced by anisogamy. Some of them reproduced by oogamy. What is isogamy? What is anisogamy? What is oogamy? Isogamy means both male and female gametes are morphologically and physiologically similar. Both, if they are having morphologically and physiologically similar, they are called as isogamy. Anisogamy means either morphologically or physiologically dissimilar, will be called as anisogamy. Oogamy means both morphologically and physiologically dissimilar. So if they are looking similar, they are isogamy. They are entirely different, they are called as anisogamy. Either morphologically or physiologically, anyone will be dissimilar, will be called as anisogamy. Asexual reproduction takes place by the production of zoospores, that is motile spores. See here, these are zoospores which are motile. With the help of flagella, they can move from one place to other place and they can swim in water. Example, Ulothrix, Eudogonium, these are all living in fresh water. Similarly, abonospore, thin-walled non-motile spores. Example, Vaucheria. In Vaucheria, non-motile spores are available. Some of them produce autospores, spores which look similar to parent cell. Chlorella will be very good example for autospores. Hypnospore, a thick-walled eichlenospore, example, Chlamydomonas. And a tetraspore, diploid thallus of Polysiphonia, produce haploid spores after meiosis. Sexual reproduction in algae is of three types, as I said just now. They are isogamy, anisogamy, oogamy. Isogamy means fusion of morphologically and physiologically similar gametes, example, Ulothrix. Anisogamy means fusion of either morphologically or physiologically dissimilar gametes. These are anisogamy, example, Pandorina. Then oogamy, fusion of both morphologically and physiologically dissimilar gametes, example, Sargassum. So their life cycle shows distinct alternation of generation. That's all about general characteristic features of sexual reproduction or reproductive method. Next one we are going to see about classification.